right, let's take a look at solving rational equations. So you know me, I love steps. I love to write out which steps, what's step one, etc. That just helps me in this process. So I'm pretty boring. I do the same thing every time for solving rational equations. So let's just kind of go through the steps. So step one, I would determine which x values cannot be the answer. Okay, that's the first thing that I would do. Number two, I'm going to get a common denominator. Okay, number three, I'm going to move all fractions to one side. Okay. Number four, I'm going to eliminate the denominator. And number five, I'm going to factor and solve. Okay, so those are the steps that I use every single time. So let's go through this process. Okay, so step one, I need to determine which x values can't be used, can't be the answer, and the way that I do that is I set the denominator equal to 0. All the denominators. So let's see. So we've got x minus 3 is 0. So x is 3. All right, so I'm going to start a list. X cannot be 3. So why can't it be 3? It can't be 3 because it would turn that fraction's denominator 0, and we know that's bad. Okay, we've got x. This is factorable. This is the difference of perfect squares. So I set each of those equal to 0. I already have x minus 3 equals 0, so let's do x plus 3 is 0. So x can't be a negative 3. Okay, let's add that to my list. Okay, and then the x plus 3, we've already got that one handled. So I just kind of put this here as a reminder. When I get to my answers, if one of my answers is 3 or negative 3, I know that that's extraneous solution. It's not a real solution, so I would just cross it off. Okay, that's step one. Step two, get a common denominator. We've been working on that for a few days now. So I hope we can see that the common denominator would be x plus 3, x minus 3. So I take my first fraction and I'm going to multiply it by, let's see, what do I need? I need x plus 3 over x plus 3. I take my second fraction and it has the proper denominator. It already has x plus 3, x minus 3, so I'm going to leave it alone. My third fraction, let's see. So what does it have? It's got, what does it have? It has an x plus 3, so I need an x minus 3 over x minus 3. Okay, so let's work on that. So we've got, let's see, 6. I'm just going to distribute the 6 to the x and the 3, so 6x plus 18 over x minus 3, x plus 3 equals, and that one was fine, 8x squared. Yay, it's already good. Then I'm going to subtract, let's see, I'm going to distribute the 4x, so I've got 4x squared minus 12x over my x plus 3, x minus 3. Okay, step two is done. Common denominator. Now I'm going to move every fraction to one side. I need to be equal to 0. And it doesn't really matter which side you go to. I kind of like moving everything to the left side, but that's just, it's not, you don't have to. So we do that so that we can get it equal to 0. All right, so I've got, and I'm going to bring them together all under one fraction like we've done in the past. So 6x plus 18. Okay, and I'm going to subtract the 8x squared over. This is being subtracted, so I'm going to add the 4x squared minus 12x over. And that's all over our common denominator equals 0. All right. Okay, looks good. So let's see. So what do we do now? So we're going to combine like terms. And I've got, what do we have? We've got negative 4x squared. And that would give me, what, a negative 6x and plus 18. Okay, so eliminate denominator. Let's talk about how I can do that. Since I'm equal to 0, think about that as 0 over 1. If I were to cross multiply 1 times that numerator 0, see how the 0 would basically wipe out the denominator? So that's the rationale for how I can get rid of the denominator. I've already made a point to say, you know, what x can't be. That's what we need the denominator for. What is x not allowed to be? So now I can just eliminate the denominator and factor and solve. Let's see. I don't really like factoring with a leading coefficient negative, so I would multiply everything through by negative 1. That gives me 4x squared plus 6x minus 18 is 0. Then we would factor. Let's see. Before I start factoring, I also don't want to mess with the GCF. I want to get the GCF out of there. So, come on, you can do it. Well, it's got slow. So the greatest common factor between 4, 6, and 18 is 2. So we're just going to follow this up here. So I'm going to factor out a 2, and that leaves me, what, 2x squared plus 3x minus 9. Divide the 2 off, and so I'm just left with this factoring. Let's see, I've got a 2x and an x. Let's see, probably 3 and 3. We're just doing our guess and check method. Let's try that. So 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times 3 is 6x minus 3x. Oh, that is a positive 3x. And negative 3 times positive 3 is a negative 9. Yay. So here we go. We set each factor or bubble equal to 0. So I have, let's see, x is 3/2, and x is a negative 3. Ooh, what do we know about x being a negative 3? That is a problem, right? That's a problem. We just said up here that x can't be negative 3. Okay, so this is not okay. Or such a delay. Come on, you can catch up with me. There we go. So we need to cross that. Leave it there, but cross it out. Show that we got that answer. We considered it. We realized it's not an answer, so we are done with that. So we just have one answer, which is 3/2. All right, so that is our very first problem. We have one more to work on. We're going to use the same steps that we used here. So we're going to look and see what is x not allowed to be. So I'm going to factor and set each denominator equal to 0. So x is 0, x is 3. So let's make ourselves a little note. So x is not allowed to be 0, and x is not allowed to be 3. Okay, we have that listed. Let's see. This gives us the same zeros, x minus 3. Gives us a 3 and x, so we're good. So those are all of our issues. Okay, that's step 1. Step 2, we want to find a common denominator. Hopefully we can see that this x squared minus 3x is the common denominator. It has the x embedded in it and the x minus 3, so yay. So the first term we would just leave like it is. Let's see, the second term, we need to multiply that one by, let's see, we need x over x. Okay, good. And that last term, what do we need? We need an x minus 3. So we need to multiply it by x minus 3. Over x minus 3. Okay, great. So let's work through that. So we have 18. Boy, it sure is slow. Okay, that's fine. 18 over x times x minus 3 minus, let's see, 6 times x is 6x over x times x minus 3 equals, let's see, distribute the 5, 5x minus 15 over x times x minus 3. Okay, so we've got common denominators. Now the next step is to move everything to one side and set it equal to 0, because if we move everything over, it's going to be equal to 0. Okay, so we have 18 over x times x minus 3 minus 6x over x times x minus 3. And we're going to move this positive fraction, so we're going to move it over by subtracting it from both sides. 5x minus 15 over x times x minus 3. Okay, so now we're going to bring those 3 fractions into one fraction. Okay, so we can do this. So 18 minus 6x minus, and we have to be sure to distribute the negative to both of those terms up there. So I like to put a little parenthesis to remind me to do that. Okay. All right, so let's combine like terms. Let's see, we have negative 6x minus 5x is a negative 11x. We have 18 minus a minus 15. So that's 18 plus 15, which is 33. Okay, so now our next step is to eliminate the denominator. Remember, the 0 would wipe that denominator out, so we're just going to look at negative 11x plus 33 equals 0. Okay, so let's solve that. Move the 11 over, 11x over. Oops, it's positive over there. Wow. Okay, come on, you can erase, or not. So I've got, what, 11x over here, so divide by 11. Let's see, 33 divided by 11 is 3. Uh-oh, x can't be 3. We see right here. So that's not a possibility. And we don't have any other options, so this one would actually be no solution. We actually don't have an answer for this one. There's no x value that would make that true. All right.